Brushes. Let's talk about brushes real quick. I'm just going to stay, I'm going to come over here. Brushes, 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 and more brushes. There's different kinds of brushes. I like the brushes that we are using are kind of scatter paint brushes. So like these brushes here. These are scatter brushes. There are a bunch of them. If you get the class, there's a bunch of brush presets you get to download that already have these with the controls on them. And then this is a brush library. Now you use this in kind of an odd situation. Like let's say you have someone who the shot is really blurry and there's no fidelity to the shot. So how are you going to pull a channel? There's nothing there. I often use pre-shot out images to use to make a brush. But not only that, I often use, I have a whole image library, a gazillion brushes. I can't even tell you how many hair files I have. And I have them so that if I need it, I can pull a hair and put that in another file. And honestly, I see someone with great hair, Ken is hair. I'd be shooting Ken. Yeah, you've got great hair. You do, you have really great hair. Because I want to use that for something else. And you can go buy wigs and shoot wigs. You could go to a thrift store and get wigs and shoot them, and I cannot tell you how often you'll want to use them. And they're beautiful. And then you put them in, and then do you remember I did that transform? All right, so let's do this. Let's just take this hair. It's obviously the wrong color, and it still has a halo, but I think you will get the point. Command-T, put it in there. I'm going to go ahead and apply that mask. And if we colorized it and put it in position, and trust me, once you've done this once or twice and you have it, you will save your beautifully warped out hair and use it on a bunch of jobs. I'm going to admit to something. I've used Heidi Klum's nose on my own personal retouching. Put it right there. Because I did such a good job on it, I wanted to use it again and again. So again, this is a hair library. So let me be clear about this. I'm going to get in trouble for that, I think. All right, that's OK. She's got a lovely nose. A compliment. It's a compliment. All right. So what I want to talk about just real quickly is the brush template versus the brush library. Two different things. So these are just black and white images that you can make brushes on. And the library is actually an image you're going to use. Now on the handouts, I'm going to skip this part because I'm running out of time. But to make a brush, I'm just going to show you a real quick little demo here. Bear with me, my loves. My computer's very excited to be here, and it's turning on often. All right. So you can look up tutorials on this, but you can make a brush. All you have to do is have a basic square. It's a little 2 megabyte file. I'm going to go Command-A to select the whole image. It's a square. Define brush preset. All right, Russian dot. It's because some Russian guy came up with this. It's called the Russian dot. And then I can go to my brush presets and set it for what I want. And you know what? That brush is huge. Didn't I tell you I like small brushes? And I don't want smoothing, and I want it on pen pressure. I might want some scattering. A little scat. Make it a little. Now, I like that one. I'm going to make a new brush set out of that. Russian dot, smooth. And now I want to pick that brush. So that'll be the next one. What I would probably do is delete the old one, so I don't get confused, and I just want the smooth one. Oh, brilliant, it didn't save it. That's nice. All right, either way, let me go back to the size. Now, this 5 little pixel brush, do you remember we started at the beginning? Blank layer, paint, paint hair. I'm going to select a color. I'm going to make it much smaller than this. But you get a different kind of texture when you make it really small. And there's a whole tutorial on how I want you guys to see these. I think I'm going to do it bigger. Keep in mind the settings you guys watch on this movie. Like, well, if you were to look at this and you see I have a 5 pixel brush and I'm painting it, that's too big for this hair. I'm doing it so you can see it. But on your screen, you're going to want to do smaller. All right? So very quickly, in 30 seconds, I just basically said this is how you make a brush. I have a tutorial that's a paper tutorial. I'll show you exactly how to make all the brushes for this. So I'm going to move on. If we have a minute, I'll come back to this. Brushes are your friends, though. I will tell you, in all honesty, for all the brushes that you can use, and what do I mean by that? I mean all these brushes. There's a bunch of hair brushes. I'm going to make a blank screen here. I'm going to fill it with white. I'm going to hit my default keys and pick a color. I just want to show you guys some stuff here. There are hair brushes that you can get that you can do all kinds of crazy-ass, wonderful stuff with and make hair. Red's probably not the color. Well, red's a lovely color for hair. Orange, something nice. You can get these. I have a bunch of these brushes. The Nagel brushes are fantastic that allow you to draw hair. I generally don't illustrate hair like that gal that we're looking at with all that hair that's already there. I'm not going to be using kind of puby looking hair to brush her hair. I mean, you can make it really small, but chances are you're not going to use this. So these hair brushes, while they are fantastic, you're generally not using it to paint over hair. You're probably using it to illustrate hair where hair does not exist. If you need to, I shouldn't have said puby, I know. Anyway, you get the idea. So all these, I've got a ton of brushes you guys can download. They're very valuable, but what I wanted to say is the majority of my work is done with a basic brush set at 2 pixels with a 0 hardness on 50% opacity. No bells, no whistles, just regular plain stuff. All right, I'm gonna move on real quick. You guys doing all right?
I'm going to just pause and take a question or two. If there's
Awesome.
any
Absolutely.
in the studio audience, we can grab a mic. I've got one here from Sarah Morgan first, who says, what are the numbers under the brushes, and is there a way to organize them?
The numbers under the brushes, so for the presets, it's the pixel size. Okay, so it's how big they are pixel-wise. Organizing them, the only way in, I have a folder with ABR brushes, and what does that mean? That means I save them out. Save your brushes. Oh, well, looky there, you can see it right there. See how it says hairbrushes.abr? Files for Creative Live. Look what you could get, hairbrushes. So you can save out your hairbrushes in a set, a .abr file. As far as organizing them in here, my understanding is there's third-party products you can buy to do that. I'm sorry, I don't know what they are. You'd have to look them up on Google or an app store. And yeah, and if you're making brushes, you guys, when you make them, make your own brushes, do them as big as you can, as large as you can, because then you can always reduce them. But if you made a teeny tiny brush and then you want to res it up, you're kind of screwed. Cool?
Cool.
I think you just answered my question.
Oh,
actually.
excellent.
I was going to ask whether you use any plugins for hairbrushes.
Yeah, just the Nagel brushes, but I've really much, I got to tell you, I pretty much make them on my own. But yes, there are great plugins. I just find that the Nagel series is fantastic. It is free. And yeah, and like I said, when you saw, it's very distinctive. It's got a pretty heavy look, so how often are you going to be able to use it? Curly hair, like afro hair, absolutely use them. Absolutely, they're fantastic.